where is there some opportunities?
Yeah, and Jas, just going back to the beginning of the brunch here, you said a statement where you said, drive till you qualify. And I wrote that down because I that was really interesting. And I'm just going to go back to that and say, with a lot of the buyers we're working with right now, it's not that we're driving to qualify, but we're driving to find cash flow. So, we're getting out of these extremely hot markets and, we're going a little bit further. Instead of having your radius as 30 minutes from your house, make that 45 minutes, make that an hour from your house. It's still within reasonable driving, and we're finding much better markets.
Well, and to that point, Jacob, and to everybody who's watching, we get the question as well, where should I invest? I have no idea. Wherever the returns are best.
Exactly.
That's another one for maybe you to write down, Jacob. That was one of my better ones. But all joking aside, Mar, what's happening on the East End there, Durham? It's one of my favorite places to look at because I know in a certain pockets, i.e., Oshawa, for example, I can get a home where I can rent out the upstairs and the downstairs, call it a duplex, call it, whatever you want there. And we can either legalize the basement or we can find one that's legal already. What am I looking at in terms of price point? Can I still find something with a 6 in front of it or no?
Hard. Very tough right now. I mean, of course, if it requires some work, absolutely. Yeah. If you're handy, fantastic. Realistically speaking, they're above 7 now. Even not even single detached. So you think about it, Oshawa, at one point in time was probably the most affordable, one of the top 10 places to invest. And now it's like crazy. It's going nuts. And there are multiple offers on everything, and townhouses, semis, detached, doesn't matter, because anything, let's just to put it into perspective, anything under 900 is hot. And you're going to get, those people that are qualified for those numbers just going crazy and offering on these properties, just like throwing darts, a shot in the dark. They're going to try.
I mean, Oshawa saw like a 16, 17%, Durham region. Sorry, yes, I shouldn't just say Oshawa.
Durham region in general.
16, 17% increase compared to last year, right?
Oh, yeah, it just went nuts. So from like July, August on, it just got busier and busier. And, it's not that there still weren't a lot of questions like, what the hell's going on? We don't know. We're working through it just like everybody else. And we'd lie if we told you we did, because you list a property and then 2 weeks later, another similar property sells for 100,000 more. And it's like, wow, like your head spins. And it's like, people are like, well, okay, well, my house is worth that now, even more so. I'd love to sell it, but where the hell am I going? And if you're staying in the same area, it's all balanced, it's all relative. But if you're moving out of the area, if you're an investor, overall, you got to go east. You got to go east of even, like Oshawa. Got to go to like Clarington. If you're qualified for something 700 under, it's got to be east of Oshawa. Because right now, Oshawa's fairly hot too.
This is going to be fun because it's going to be the battle of the East Coast and the West Coast. Because I know, and I'm not trying to take it to 90s hip hop or anything for everybody who's watching, but I know Jacob is a massive West Coast guy, West Ender. So what's happening on the West side there? I love it, Mark. Jacob, what's going on in the West End, buddy? What can investors like? What are they looking at, man?
Well, they're definitely not looking at Oakville.
Yeah, right.
That's true.
Do you have $2 million for a garage? Here.
It's crazy. It's insanity.
What do you see now?
I saw an article actually in Etobicoke where there was a garage going for almost $1 million. It was like $799 or $899.
Really?
Well, look, I mean, obviously I help a lot of our insiders with the new build investing, and in downtown Toronto, when I tell some of our new build investors that the parking spot is $100,000, they lose their lid. Simos lost his lid a while ago, but like they lose their lid about $100,000. But here's the thing: 16 years ago, Marmar, when we were doing this in downtown Toronto, the parking spot was $30,000.
Absolutely.
And to put that into context, if you look at Manhattan at that 16-year period, it
Yeah.
was $75,000 to $95,000 for a parking spot 16
And we
years
used to
ago.
laugh.
It's at $400,000 to $500,000
No,
in
but we used to
Manhattan.
laugh. We used to make that example, saying that stop thinking that 30,000 is a lot. Manhattan's 95,000.
Last year,
Yeah.
2 years ago, May 2019, myself, Simos, Laura, and Clem go to Manhattan. We go to
Yeah.
the penthouse floor of like an 80 floor building. They show us the locker, guys, a locker, not the. Sorry, it was more.
This was
just
a Hudson
for your
Yards.
wine.
Hudson Yards.
Hudson Yards, okay, just for your wine, $250,000.
Yep.
So, like, I want people
That's
to
New York.
understand. It's
But
New York.
mind you, it was the coolest fucking winery we've ever seen in your life.
And
But I mean,
there's the first F-bomb of the day. I was waiting for the first F-bomb
hello,
of the day.
there
Hello.
it is.
It's Brunch with
Spencer.
RBC every other Saturday, guys. I'm seeing so many notifications about the amount of people that are sharing this with their friends, colleagues, and neighbors. We truly appreciate it. Jacob, you still got to answer it though, because between myself, Marlene, and Simos, we love the sound of our own voice. So, Jacob,
Yes, this is true.
you go and talk to us. Talk to us, my man, about what's happening in the West End.
Yeah. So very similar to what's happening in the East. It's just coming out. It's the pebble in the pond effect from Toronto, right? Everything's coming out, the ripples. What we're doing, what I'm doing with a lot of my investors is we're trying to go, into these smaller, and when I say smaller, I mean that very lightly, but like, Brantford, for example. Brantford's a fantastic market. There's a lot of economic driving force there.
Yeah.
And there's still, it's getting hotter and hotter, but there's still deals to be had. I was just out there, on Thursday. I spent the whole day with a couple different clients going around to some properties. We're also looking at pockets like, Paris, Ontario, Fergus, Ontario,
Yeah.
these smaller towns that are growing rapidly. It's just where you need to go to start doing that. But to top that, I want to say, we're just trying to get creative with investing.
What do you mean?
So,
I love that.
there's a lot of, like, Ontario's pushing intensification. You mentioned that earlier.
Yeah.
So what we're doing now is, instead of just going to look for your standard duplex or triplex, we're trying to find a duplex or triplex with an option to do a garden suite or a laneway home. And I know Toronto's had some hard time with that. But just for example, Brantford, I spoke with the building department at their city just this week, and they have a full checklist of, this is what we need.
And sorry, Jacob, I just wanted to say rest in peace, Walter Gretzky. I mean, he just passed away.
Yeah.
You said
Yeah.
Brantford. Rest in peace to Walter Gretzky.
Yeah.
Go ahead, buddy.
Yeah. And that's the thing, right? So we were just trying to get creative here. Okay, so let's turn this 2-car garage into a third unit, because that's in Brantford. You can do that now. In Barrie, you can do that. Aurelia, there's these cities are starting to implement these because we need to intensify. So that's really how we're getting creative. We're starting to do things like that, or do the duplex conversion yourself. I'm just working on it right now. I should have it done for Monday, but we're just kind of doing a 2-pager on the steps to find the perfect duplex conversion property.
That's
We
awesome.
can share that with our insiders.
And it's
What's a garden suite? Sorry,
Oh.
yeah.
that's new. That's new for me. So go.
So a garden suite or accessory dwelling would be a second detached dwelling on one property.
On the
So
lot.
normally
Okay.
it's done with a garage.
Yeah.
It's
It's in the
legit. Like
back.
if you have a detached garage,
Yeah.
like straight up, you can turn them into a home.
Yeah. Okay. So
Yeah.
that I know, like a laneway housing. This
It's-
branding of the word garden
home?
suite.
Well,
got
just
me
because it's in the
interested.
garden.
It's just in the garden. I love it. I
And
love
that's-
it. I
And the
I
only
love it.
difference, Jas, is the laneway house is actually going to be on a lane, where the
Yeah.
garden
Got it.
suite would be in the backyard of some of
Backyard,
the
yeah.
house.
This is why you come to Brunch with REC, everybody who's watching. You learn new words and terms. And this way, when you are at a cocktail party, as we hopefully open up very soon, you
Yeah.
know all the buzzwords
And-
in real
and-
estate.
And let me put in then a plug, because we work so hard. So
Yes.
this goes out to every
Speak for
REC
yourself, man. I don't know how hard I work.
That's right. You don't work hard. You don't work hard.
I know.
I do have a
Thankfully, everybody
question of
around you
Jacob.
works hard, so you can. You're the dog. You know what I'm saying? Anyways,
I have a question
just
of
joking.
Jacob
There's not many
really
people who
quickly,
work
guys.
harder.
Go ahead, Marlene.
No, I have to make my point. Mark,
go ahead.
no, this is to your
Wait a
benefit.
minute.
To your
Wait a
benefit.
minute.
It's to your benefit. So we literally have so much depth on the bench at this point. Jacob, who is running the commercial division, behind him has Ethan, has Mark Gano, has Mark. Like, these are all investors to themselves. So these are not practitioners that do it for others. They do on for themselves what they teach and execute for others. So when Jacob says he's going to the planning department of Brantford, he knows the planner that works there, and he knows the best planners privately for you to hire to make that garden or laneway home addition a reality. Why does that matter? Because if you're going to buy a home for $600,000 that you're going to rent out for $4,000, for example, by spending $150,000 in the back and adding another $2,000, the margin on that profit is 4x.
Huge.
So there's a lot of ways to make money. When you call Marlene and get her advice on listing a home, you're going to make 20, 50, 70,000 more than you would otherwise because of the depth and experience. So if, like, I never talk about like us, like service, this, that, and the other, but I do ask our REC insiders, legit, if you have questions, if you are thinking of making these moves, I know our guys are busy, but they're busy taking questions and servicing people like you. So don't think for a second that you're bothering anyone. Don't think for a second who to use. We are here for that reason.